Hello, everybody. I am so excited about what we're going to be talking about today. I am going to wait a few minutes, as always, to see who's going to hop on with us live, but welcome to everybody who is watching this on the replay. This conjunction between Mars and Uranus at 26 degrees of Taurus, exactly conjunct the fixed star Algol, is massive. We are going to see these changes transpiring over the next 2 years as this begins a brand new 2-year cycle between Mars and Uranus. And what a way to kick it off. I have been doing so much research on this topic, learning about Algol particularly, and the influence that this star has over the energy of this conjunction happening, I believe I did say at 26 degrees of Taurus. So we're working with the planet Mars that represents our will, it represents our drive, it represents our desire, right? All of those primal masculine type energies. And then we have Uranus, which represents, among many other things, rebellion, and Taurus, which is a fixed earth sign, pretty much as stubborn and fixed as the signs get. So on a very mundane level, we can expect a lot of tempers to be flaring. We can't expect a lot of my way or the highway type energy. We can't expect people to be putting the energy and the concept, the idea of their freedom to express themselves, their freedom to live life the way that they desire. That energy is going to be paramount, right? That's the mundane energies here. But this goes much, much deeper than that. And anyone who's familiar with this channel knows that here we like to go deep. So we're going to look at all of the implications of this conjunction and the energy of Algol and how that really creates like the level of like dynamic energy that is being produced by this alignment cannot be overstated. It is absolutely insane. And as everybody hops into the chat, please let me know if you can hear me properly. I have my mic on. I want to make sure that it is registering because I'm doing this on my phone and I can't see the little thing that I can see on my computer that tells me that my voice is registering. So somebody hop on, somebody let me know. I see there's a couple people watching right now. As we continue to move through this video and talk about these energies, I will say that the last time that we had this conjunction of Mars and Uranus conjunct the star Algol at 26 degrees of Taurus was in 1942. And there were a lot of powerful shifts that happened during 1942. There were major turning points in World War II and the Pacific War during that time. And it was also when the United States, in conjunction with the UK and Canada, began working on the atomic bomb with the intention of utilizing that bomb in World War II. And as we go through and we talk about these energies, you're going to understand how that makes a lot of sense. Oh, thank you, Vincent. Thank you. And Carolina says she can hear me. Wonderful. I appreciate you, brother. Awesome. All right. So let's get into this. We talked about this energy here of Mars and Uranus, right? And how this is our willpower. This is our drive. One thing to remember when we're working with these energies, however, is that Uranus doesn't just represent rebellion. Uranus represents the higher ideals. It is quite literally the cosmic or universal mind. It is that energy of the Akashic records of God force, creation energy, and all of the beautiful ideals. We can imagine if Uranus were sort of the creator, right? Having this beautiful blueprint, this design for the cosmos, this design in this case for humanity, all of these beautiful ideals. And of course, when we get down to Earth, these ideals aren't necessarily played out because everybody is in a lower dimension, a lower frequency, right? The third dimension is the lowest dimension or frequency of communal life in the universe. And so things get a little bit twisted up. Things get a little bit strange, so to speak. But overall, Uranus represents that drive and that desire for change, for that perfection, right? That inherent perfection that is possible and all of the different potentials that exist. So when we pair Mars with Uranus, we have this activation of Mars's higher drives and desires. We can expect a lot of downloads coming through, a lot of ways that our masculine energy is being brought into a higher frequency and revolutionized, so to speak. This is a huge activation for the masculine energy that I am feeling here. And we've been talking throughout 2024 about how this year is a powerful year of awakening for the divine masculine, understanding and remembering, of course, that we all hold both a masculine and a feminine essence or charge within us. So this doesn't just apply to those who have taken masculine bodies or who identify strongly with that masculine essence. We all have this aspect within us. So this is another example of that upleveling and that transformation of the masculine energy here. So we have, when we're having Mars and Uranus together, anytime, especially in the sign of Taurus, which represents, once again, the physical manifested world, we can expect big changes, unexpected changes. We can expect, just like we saw when we talked about and referenced these energies of World War II and how the energy shifted completely in the year that we had this conjunction. Because remember, these energies, like we said, this is a brand new 2-year cycle that Mars and Uranus are commencing on together, right? So everything is not going to pop off right on the 15th, although we probably will see some things happening on that day. Also considering the fact that we have the sun in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. So once again, we have that gentle, that sensitive energy, that emotional nature with Cancer, right? All of those deep childhood wounds, all of that beautiful, but very sometimes heavy Cancerian energy, that moon representing our emotional conditioning as we move through life, squaring Chiron, the wounded healer, the planet that represents our deepest wounds that can never be completely healed, but will help to gain us wisdom as we move through life, in the sign of Aries, which is the sign ruled by Mars. So we see these wounds and we see this healing process coming up through many, many facets. And because all of this is happening on the 15th, we can expect, like I said, some things are going to happen on that day, but they are going to continue to develop. And they probably are already happening, right? Because Mars and Uranus are within conjunction. And I believe as I'm filming this video, they may even be within conjunction range of Algol. Algol is located at exactly 26 degrees of Taurus. And it is most active as the sun passes over it the 16th through the 18th of May. That does not mean that it's not active right now, however. Algol is actually one of the most powerful stars in the heavens. And we are going to get into Algol, don't worry. We're going to tie that in just a minute here. So we have these changes, these shifts in our physical reality, yes, in our value system, just a lot of breakthroughs coming through surrounding all of that energy in our own personal lives. But this is, so I guess we're getting into Algol right now, taken to a higher level and a higher frequency because of the energy of Algol. And to understand the energy of Algol, we first need to understand the energy or the story and the myth of Medusa, as Algol does represent Medusa's left eye. It is found in the constellation of Perseus, which depicts Perseus holding Medusa's head. And like we said, Algol representing that left eye, it appears to be a blinking red light in the sky, and it's one of the most definitive stars in the night sky. So stargazers tend to, that's one of the first stars that they tend to kind of focus upon because the energy is so prevalent. And I'm going to explain the astronomy of Algol and why it is that that blinking red eye appears in the sky after we move through and understand the myth of Medusa. And I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so give me just a second. There we go. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't interrupted. Sometimes I forget to do that. So in the story of Medusa, Medusa was not originally a Gorgon. She was originally a beautiful maiden, some say a handmaiden to Athena herself. And she was just this beautiful, virginal spirit and immortal. And she attracted a lot of attention because of her beauty, because of her grace, just because of the way that she was. And so Poseidon became quite fixated on Medusa. And she was not interested in Poseidon. She wanted nothing to do with him. However, he was a god, and we know how these gods are, right? If you're familiar with mythology, you know that honestly, you can tell that man created some of these myths to an extent just because of like the very human nature of these gods, but they do represent archetypes within our own psyche, right? It's kind of like they take an aspect of the human experience and the human psyche, and they amplify it and make it more intense, right? So Poseidon takes notice of Medusa. He desires her. She does not desire him. However, he chases her to one of Athena's temples and he violates her sexually. And after this happens, Athena becomes aware of what he has done, and she turns on Medusa, blaming Medusa for the situation. Hello, Plune. And basically going berserk with rage. So Athena curses Medusa. She turns her hair to snakes, and she makes it so that Medusa cannot look, nobody can look at Medusa. She cannot connect with anybody visually without turning them to stone. And this energy is turned on her as well, because if she so much as looks in the mirror, she turns herself to stone. She is also cursed with eternal life and banished to live with the Gorgon sisters. As if this were not enough, I'm not sure how much, I was going to say years later, I'm not really sure how much time later, but after a bit of time has passed, Perseus, who is the son of Zeus, pursues Medusa. And when he finds her, he uses weapons that the gods have fashioned for him to go into battle with her and ultimately cut off her head. It is said that when Perseus cuts off Medusa's head, the Pegasus and another beautiful mythological creature, I have to look at my notes here because it's a name that's not familiar to me, Chrysaor, emerge from her neck. And so there is this energy here of her being this portal to life, right? These are Poseidon's children that were housed within her, that explode out of her when Perseus cuts off her head. And he takes her head back to Olympus and he uses it in battle because her head is a very, very powerful weapon. Because, of course, it protects anyone who stands behind it and turns anyone in front of it into stone. So we see how even in death, and actually in death, Medusa becomes even more powerful, right? She takes that tragedy, that energy, and she transforms it, and she becomes this fearsome monster, but also this portal for life, this portal for birth. Some say that the blood that dripped from her neck actually represents the feminine menstrual cycle. And once again, that energy of creation. And welcome, Boris, as well. So we see here this powerful metaphor for this monstrous energy within us, but also the duality of the beauty. There's incredible beauty in Medusa's story. She contains incredible wisdom. She is also a symbol among fearsome things for transformation, for psychic power and protection, being that anyone that stood behind her was protected. The snakes that made up her hair actually represent psychic power and psychic ability. And for the fact that no matter what happens to us in life, we can rise above it and we can become more powerful than we were before. So Algol, representing that eye of Medusa, represents the power that Medusa held. And this is the power to protect or the power to harm. And this is essentially the energy of Algol. It is both one of the most revered and one of the most feared stars in the cosmos. And most people consider it 100% malefic, representing, of course, decapitation on the literal sense, representing death, war, dismemberment, all of these different things. However, there is that other side to the star. And when I was researching it, I was really blown away by the intensity of energy and the downloads that were coming through concerning this star. So it is actually what's known as a binary eclipsing star system. And it is located, I believe it's 93 million light years from the Earth. It is made up of 3 stars. And when I was reading this, it really echoed to me the energy of the Trinity with the 3 stars. And 2 of these stars are very active. The third is invisible, representing, I believe, the ether, right? To the oneness that is everything, that encompasses everything. And the other two stars rotate or orbit around each other, eclipsing each other every 2.87 days. And when this happens, the brightest star, which is actually orange, but with the interplay of the blue, which is the other star that orbits around it, it ends up just to the naked eye appearing red, right? But it's actually an orange star and a blue star, the orange star being the very bright star. And when this eclipsing happens, it appears to dim in the sky, which is what gives this image of the star blinking. Although it really felt to me like that energy of the third eye, that energy of like that omnipresent force that is always watching over us for good or ill. Right? It is an ominous feel. But the two stars that orbit around each other remind us of the energy of duality, of the fact that both light and dark exist in all of us, both good and evil. And that this experience that we have is an experience of both of those polarities. That is what creates, like those dualities are what create everything. Whether we're looking at this as good and evil, dark and light, masculine and feminine, we continue to see the polarities and the ways that these energies are constantly orbiting within us and shifting within us. It is said that when the star appears to be dim in the sky, that is when it is at its most malevolent. And when the lower vibrational energies are streaming through. And when this star appears the brightest in the sky is when it is at its most benevolent, and those incredibly high frequency spiritual energies are pouring through. And I am pleased to report to you all, this took a little bit of research, but I was able to find a timetable of the eclipsing of these stars. When the conjunction of Mars and Uranus happens on top of the star, it is going to be, by my calculations, at its brightest. So this means the most high vibrational of its energy is going to be shining through. So I see this like really working in a number of ways. I do feel as though on an individual level, it is going to bring out in each and every single one of us what truly resides within our hearts. So if there is a lot of rage, a lot of aggression within us, that is what's going to be amplified. If there is a lot of love and a lot of joy within us, that is what's going to be amplified. But understand that even if it is what we would consider the lower frequency emotions and energies that are being activated, it is through the working through of these energies that we are able to step into a higher vibration. So it's essentially the same idea as doing shadow work. Another name for the star Algol, aside from the demon star and like the head of the demon, there's a whole bunch of them like that, is the Lilith Star. So this is considered one of the Lilith points in the sky. The other ones being Black Moon Lilith and the different interpretations of her energy. And we can see that energy of Lilith when we see that woman scorned, as we do in the story of Medusa. What makes this alignment even more fascinating, and hello, Pete, so happy to see you here with us, is the fact that it is actually happening in a loose opposition to Pallas Athena. So the goddess who cursed Medusa is opposing, her asteroid is opposing this conjunction. And the feeling that I was getting from this is that this is really going to have us to confront a lot of these oppositional energies within us, especially where we have this. And it's a very Plutonic, Scorpionic kind of a vibe with this. It's like, where is it that we feel that desire for revenge? Where have we felt scorned in our lives and we felt that desire to lash out? Where have we seen this energy play out with other people as well? Understanding that sometimes when we have these feelings within us, and this is a concept that Carl Jung talks about at length, and he was very into astrology, which not a lot of people know. He actually wrote books about astrology and the way that the archetypes and the different energies that he explored related to astrology. Very, very fascinating. And it makes sense why I've always been drawn to him. But he talks about the phenomenon of the energy of the shadow, where when we suppress and repress aspects of ourselves, say, for instance, rage, since that is what we're dealing with, a primary energy and archetypical emotion with this conjunction here, and we don't express that, Instead, it gets mirrored out to us in the outside world, and we confront other people and other situations that are reflecting that energy back to us. And so we're going to get a chance to perhaps see some of that, to see those shadowy energies that exist within us that we may have repressed or suppressed. And where it is, and this is where we really see the evidence or the energy of Lilith coming through here as well, and why they call this the Lilith Star, especially with this opposition to Pallas Athena. We have that railing against the people and the places that have oppressed us, that have caused us in our own minds, right, to not be able to express these aspects of the self. And we are very, very much going to be needing and desiring to do that. It is interesting, however, Pallas Athena is the goddess of war, right? And now we understand part of what made her so powerful was when she was given Medusa's head to use as a weapon. That's not the only reason, but that definitely helped kind of stack the deck in her favor, I think. But she's also the goddess of wisdom and arts and all of these other beautiful things. And so we can see the strategy, the wisdom. This is why she was the goddess of war. It wasn't because she was necessarily like Aries, so fearsome in that regard. It's because she was a great strategist. And strategy is really one of the most important facets when we're looking at this, right? So she was able to strategize in a way that not a lot of other people could. So there is an opportunity here to develop new strategies, to develop what this conjunction is really asking us is to develop new ways of expressing that masculine energy, of expressing our aggression. Remember, aggression is not always a bad thing. Mars is not a bad thing. Our masculine energy is not a bad thing, all right? It has, quite like the star Algol and Lilith and Medusa themselves, been demonized. However, if we didn't have Mars energy in our charts, we would never get anything accomplished. We would not have that fierceness that's necessary when somebody is limiting us, when somebody is oppressing us, when somebody is, to use a more American term, treading upon us, so to speak, right? Like, don't tread on me. We wouldn't be able to stand up for ourselves, for our ideals, for the other people in our lives. Remember, the masculine energy is the protector in its highest vibration. So we need that Mars energy. We just need to employ it with strategy, and we need to employ it in a way that is constructive instead of destructive. And now, like I said, the star Algol here really is going to bring out within individuals and the collective whatever the dominant vibration is. We do have the brightest energy of this star during the conjunction of Mars and Uranus. So it is seeking to bring us to that higher vantage point, to express that higher spiritual energy. But that does not necessarily mean that's what's going to happen for everyone, or that's what's going to happen in the collective. In the next couple of years, it is very possible that more WAR is going to be declared. This is, remember, this is invoking within us that primal need to be free, that primal need to exert our will and have the freedom to do that, to have the freedom to live our lives the way that we see fit. And so, like a lot of times, rebellion is part of that. All right. And we are going to see that. I think it's really interesting to look at perhaps in the United States, everything that's going on with the election coming up this year. Some people have actually said that they don't think there's even going to be an election. I have actually a lot to say on this matter, and I'm trying to decide if we're going to have this discussion on Rumble or on YouTube. So if you guys haven't followed me on Rumble yet, the link is in the description box below. Go ahead and do that, because it's going to get pretty intense, the conversation that we're going to have about this election and all of the crazy energies. We're not going to get into that today, but it's definitely interesting that that is happening during this year that we are having this conjunction. Not even like how many months from now? 5 months, 6 months, something like that. You know, my math, I literally have to do it on my fingers. Math is not my strong suit. So you guys let me know how long it is until the election. It's not very much time. And remember, this is a 2-year cycle. So we're looking at everything that's transpiring over the next 2 years. This is personal liberation. This is us reaching for that higher spiritual expression of our masculine energy, of our will, using that primal life force energy of Mars to achieve those higher ideals of Uranus and reach our highest potential and power. Something that was interesting when I was writing the email, anyone who wants to join my email list, I write emails on all of this different stuff. That's actually how I prepare for these videos now, is by drafting out an email to everyone who's on the email list. And when I was writing this, one of the questions that came through from Spirit was, what do you fear most? Your darkness or your light? That's what this conjunction is asking us. That's the question, the primary question. And I have a feeling that whichever one we fear more is the one we're going to get more of. All right, because that's what's going to evolve us the most powerfully. So the next 2 years are really going to be about stepping into our power, learning how to wield that power for the highest good of all. Really, really, really powerful stuff, you guys. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I want to share with you guys about this before we get into. I think we are going to pull some cards here. Oh yeah, we have some other alignments as well, some other aspects going on. And I want to take a moment to say hello. Hello to Joni. Hello to Diana, to Tommy, to Shahira, to Hathaway. Pete, once again, I've really missed having you in the chat, Pete. You're just amazing. I love you so much. I know you were so missed by so many people, so many comments asking about you. I'm sure everybody is very, very happy to have you back and have you around. I can't even tell you how many people researched like the old videos that we did together. I think just so they could watch you somewhere on YouTube. Those have been very active. Hello, Shahira. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Yeah, so the other aspects, they're all loose. There's no, so this, the Algol, Uranus, and Mars, that is an exact, I mean, they are exact, all right? And then we have some loose aspects. Like we said, we have Pallas Athena loosely aspecting, opposing this. We have Pluto trining, really enhancing that energy of transformation, especially in the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign that Uranus rules. So we have that energy, and Pluto by many is known as the higher octave of Mars. So we have that energy with Pluto and Aquarius connecting to both Mars and Uranus and really assisting us in this transformation and this realizing of our higher ideals, our higher values. Remember, Taurus represents what we value just as much as it represents the physical manifested world. And I did feel that for many people during this time and this next 2-year period, things were going to dramatically, especially if you're a fixed sign, especially if you're a Taurus. And I know there's some people in the chat like myself that are Tauruses. Just things being eclipsed in and out of your lives, much like eclipse season. I mean, this energy is dynamic. We're working with that Taurus energy, with that fixed earth, with the physical world, Mars being a very physical energy, right? So things moving in, things moving out, whatever is in divine alignment for us and whatever is not in divine alignment for us, perhaps like it's like that shifting, that rapid shifting of timelines. Uranus to me is an energy that represents timelines and our ability to shift through them. Very much like I also said, Saturn and Pisces really to me represents the new Earth timeline and the things that we need to work through, the lessons that we need to learn, the karma that we need to release in order to step into that. And so there is an energy with Uranus of timelines as well. So we can see I'm seeing it right now almost like a movie in my mind where you're just flipping, almost like if you had a book and the pages of the book were different timelines and you're just flipping back and forth, all dependent upon your vibration. And it's interesting, something that's coming through right now is that Algol rewards truth and authenticity, and a willingness to face our fears, a willingness to face our demons. And this conjunction is also going to, I'm seeing this energy, or I'm feeling this energy of like revealing the face of the demon. I don't know fully what that means, but it feels like to me that energy of exposing that which is false, exposing the face of our own demons, but also exposing the demons in the world around us. And as we know, there are many, right? So that's interesting as well. It's almost like that blinking eye represents our ability to see through untruth. And as we learn to identify and embrace our own demons, it allows us to see those demons much more clearly in other people. So that's really fascinating as well. Hello, Evelyn. And so someone said, what do Taurus and Mars have to do with each other? This video is about the conjunction of Mars and Uranus and the star Algol, otherwise known as the demon star or the Lilith Star, in the sign of Taurus. That is the sign, that is the sector of the sky where this is happening. That's what they what this has to do with that. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, Joni, I hear you. That's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it is it's intense, right? Okay, I think. Yeah. And so another thing that there's just so much coming through here. So I have to look at my notes a little bit here. So one of the things, and Boris, go back and rewatch the video after we're done. And that will give you any more answers where it is that you may need to just kind of hear things through again, as far as the description of Algol and all of that, because we did go into that in detail and I don't want to go back over it. But continue to because it's a lot to digest. It's a lot of information. It's a very powerful star. All right. And it can really help us tap into our own power the same way that Pluto and any of these energies can, right? So another thing that I had found when we're looking at this opposition with Pallas Athena is that it's going to show us, we may be hypersensitive, especially with the square going on around this time as well between the Sun in Cancer and Chiron in Aries, to where it is that we are feeling judged. But it's also going to give us an opportunity to see and understand how it is that we judge others. And thank you so much. I appreciate you so much, brother. I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah, so that energy of judgment, self-judgment, judgment of others, and we talked about the projecting energy, right? And so that is the same thing with judgment. When I find myself judging other people, what is that? What is within me is being reflected out in that energy. And a lot of times we will attract the type of people that embody the qualities that we judge within ourselves, that we don't even understand or may not have even realized we are judging within ourselves. So there's this powerful opportunity to release judgment and to understand. And this was the beauty that I saw with this binary eclipsing star system, right? That has these two primary stars eclipsing each other. And then that third invisible star that is also part of this equation. So we see the energy of duality, like we said, with the two eclipsing stars. And then we see the energy of the all, the entirety of it, with that third star, the invisible star, right? And so it's that energy of we are both and we are neither. And really coming to understand that and the paradox of that. We are both good and evil, and we are neither. Right? We are everything and we are nothing. It's really, really powerful, the symbology of this. Hello, Samuel. Sending you love, brother. It certainly can be bringing that Christ consciousness that Yeshua embodied. I mean, that's the whole deal, right? That's what we're doing here. It's just we got to work through all of this indoctrination and programming and trauma and wounding of the third dimension in order to access that, to access the purity of our hearts. And we can always call on Yeshua for assistance with that. Absolutely. Your birthday is tomorrow, Evelyn. Oh, we talked about that tomorrow. So this is the 10th then. So tomorrow's the 11th. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Evelyn. So, and I did say that if you commented, I forgot, we did go over it a little bit. I said, if any of you have birthdays, like don't do it until your birthday because it'll get overwhelming. Comment your birthday and when we get close to your birthday, and I'll tell you what's going on around the time of your birthday. So on the 11th, that is when Venus enters Leo in that opposition to Pluto. So that's the big energy going on there. And that's a real great, thank you for bringing that up actually, Evelyn, because that's a great precursor to the energies we're going to experience then on the 15th. So Venus in Leo, in the beautiful fiery energy of Leo, adding more fire to this equation, right? In that opposition to Pluto and Aquarius. So on the day that she enters, it won't be exact. It'll be the day after Venus enters Leo that she'll be in exact opposition to Pluto and Aquarius, as Pluto is at 1 degree of Aquarius currently. So she has a day where she's still approaching Pluto, right? So she's still feeling that energy as she enters Leo, and then really feeling it the next day, which would be the 12th. So there's that it's once again, a lot of these shadow aspects and energies coming up within us, right? Especially around self-love, around self-worth, which is what Venus, one of the many things that Venus represents, right? We've gone into this, the complexities of Venus and the feminine energy. We talked about that in the Cancer New Moon Conjunct Sirius video. If you guys haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. One of the other most powerful stars in the cosmos. And I love the duality there too, right? With Sirius and Algol being two of the brightest stars in the sky. Sirius, our spiritual sun, representing that higher spiritual energy and the light side of it. Algol representing that higher spiritual energy. But you have to go through the depths of hell in order to access it, right? So really interesting duality or dichotomy there, especially where Sirius is generally a blue star and Algol red, right? So we have that red-blue energy going on here, which are also the two main colors for Archangel Michael, which I find interesting. Hello, Dee. Glad to see you on here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So it's just, the more you unravel this, the more complex it gets. It's just like... It's so beautiful, right? That all of the different reflections and complements and dualities within the cosmos. You don't want Pluto to leave Aquarius when it enters Capricorn again. Well, rest assured, once we hit 2025, Pluto will not be retrograding back into Capricorn anymore. This is the end of it. And I know we talked about with the energies of this conjunction, looking back between the craziness that was happening in 1942 when this last happened, and then this year of 2024. And we were looking at, and we were referencing the election in the United States that's coming up. I think it's interesting that I believe it's Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn in its final energies of 29 degrees of Capricorn. It's going to be opposing, I want to say Mars, but don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. But it's something intense like that. So that was really, really interesting as well. So don't worry, Pluto's going to be firmly rooted in Aquarius as we move through next year. So this is the final closeout of those energies. What are we congratulating Evelyn for? Just a happy birthday. I mean, not that that's a just, right? That's huge. That means you've made it through another solar return. You've made it through another year on this wild and wacky planet that we live on, right? That's no small feat for any of us. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it's that energy of like, and I love you, Athena, right? You have very many good qualities as well, but don't be like Athena when she cursed Medusa. This is the final energy that I want to leave us with before we go on to and pull some cards here. All right. Don't be like Athena when she cursed Medusa. Don't jump into action without considering the facts, without allowing yourself to become a little more emotionally balanced, and also allowing the pride and ego to get in their way, right? And we see this a lot when it comes to these love triangles and these types of situations, right? A lot of times people will blame the third party instead of blaming the partner, because if they blame the partner, what does that mean? Then there's an energy, there's a judgment, right? We're bringing in that energy of judgment again, where it's like, well, what does that say about me if I have to look at my relationship with my partner and why it is that they strayed, as opposed to just blaming this other person, this other man, this other woman as being the homewrecker, as coming in and doing this. And we can see this energy even more extremely in the myth of Medusa, because she didn't even want what happened to her, right? She was violated. It wasn't even her choice, right? But a lot of times in these situations too, like maybe the other person doesn't know about what's going on here. And yet still, they're the one that takes the blame. They're the one that takes the brunt of it, because the pride and the ego and the attachment that we have to the partner prevents us from being able to actually place the blame where the blame lies, which is, and it's never just about pointing fingers, right? Because there's always two, in this case, three people in these relationships and these situations, right? It takes two to tango. The issues and the perhaps the conflicting values between people are really like that's the root of the issue, right? And so, yes, exactly, Boris. Yes, she was raped. Yeah. Medusa. And that's another energy that may be coming up here, is really looking at our morals and our values and where they align with the people in our lives, where they align with our current career trajectory, perhaps, where they align with everything within our lives, right? Do the people, the places, the situations in my life truly align with me, with my values and morals and ideals, calling in that higher Uranian energy. And so it's really about coming into that deeper sense of authenticity within our own lives and making sure that that energy is reflected in the company that we keep, in the job that we keep, in all areas of our lives, which is all part of aligning with that highest timeline. All right. Yes. Okay. One more thing before we get into the cards. And this is pretty important, actually. And this is the idea that the energies and the entities that control this, used to control this reality, right? That have lost control of this reality and are desperately trying to get that control back. They understand all of this. They understand, they know all about Algol. They know all, and who's to say that there were not rituals and things done on both sides, perhaps, right? The last time this conjunction happened, when we saw those huge changes in fate, right? When we saw those huge shifts in World War II, the creation of the atomic bomb, the beginning of the Manhattan Project and the creation of the atomic bomb, everything that we talked about, right? Who's to say? I would imagine that there were rituals done and there were ways that this energy was, this incredibly powerful energy was harnessed the last time this conjunction happened. And I would bet anything that it's going to be happening again if it is not already. So we just want to know, we don't want to freak out. Right? There's a lot of fear mongering going on around this conjunction because of the intensity of Mars and Uranus just on their own, right? Especially in a sign like Taurus. And then adding in the energy of Algol, right? There's a lot of fear mongering. We don't get into that. We don't fall into fear here, but we do acknowledge what is, right? And what it is that there are going to be a lot of people working with this energy. A lot of people who know and understand the information that I'm sharing with you. And so simply knowing that, we can not consent to that. And we can work with this energy in a beneficial way with the goal of the highest good for all. That's what we always want to set as the intention, the highest good for all, right? So working with that, meditating on that, connecting with this high vibration, because remember, we have the highest vibration of the star shining down, which is, I'm so glad, honestly, that that's what's going on, because that really lifts us to a whole different level and allows for the transmutation and allows for the harnessing of the incredibly high spiritual power. Algol, like we said, will amplify what's within us. So if we can reach that higher level, frequency-wise, we can access the incredibly high vibrational energy, right? But we've paid the price. We've paid the price of admission, so to speak, by doing the work to get to that point. And so we want to focus on the high vibration of that star, of this conjunction, and set that intention to allow that energy to assist us in shifting even more powerfully into the highest timeline for humanity and for our ascension. So we want to acknowledge what's being done, the black magic that's being done, but don't focus on that. Focus on what we are creating. All right? Focus on our own healing, right? Because that is the energy that ripples out and shifts the reality as above, so below, right? As within, so without. This is why doing our own healing work is so important, because that's the most powerful weapon we have, right? You are the most powerful weapon. Your ability to delve into your shadow, to dive for that light, to love fiercely and accept fiercely every aspect of who you are. Knowing, of course, that you are not any of that, right? Of the role that you're playing, we'll say. You know what I mean? That is your greatest weapon. The courage to heal, to be vulnerable, to transform. And hello, I see Stephanie hopped on here. Yes, hello, hello, beautiful. All right, that's it. We're going to pull some cards now. What are we going to do? What are we going to use? Ooh, okay. I'm going to pull from the Divine Codes Oracle to get us started here. I don't know if I've used this deck. I got actually quite a few really cool decks. I haven't had that much opportunity to, I haven't been doing as many readings lately, so I haven't used these a whole lot. So I'm excited to use these and see what messages we have regarding this conjunction. Clear. We'll probably pull from a shadow deck as well, or at least the Black Moon Astrology deck. Let's get some messages for this Mars-Uranus conjunction for the next 2 years. Some guidance from Spirit. Some guidance from Uranus maybe, right? From the Akashic field. From all of our beautiful benevolent angels, team, and guides. So we have the bigger picture coming out. This is all about a shift of perspective. And so there's a quote on this card. And it says, "You will never be free until you free yourself from the prison of your own false thoughts." So this is, once again, all about those faulty belief systems, all of that faulty programming, right? And I am hard at work, you guys, on the Master Your Mind challenge. It's gotten quite deep and quite intensive. So I am looking forward to that. My intuition is telling me it's probably going to be fall time when we end up doing that. But it's so incredibly important, right? You master your mind, you master your reality. All right? So it's a shift in perspective that allows for deeper clarity. And this is about moving us out of where we feel stuck. So I'm feeling like this conjunction is going to bring up for a lot of people the frustration around where they feel stuck. And the temptation is going to be to project that energy outward and blame somebody or something else, blame something outside of ourselves. And part of the gift of this shift of perspective is reminding us of the importance of going within. These outer forces and circumstances are simply reflections of something within. Like we said, as within, so without. So instead of blaming everybody and everything else, we go within. We take ownership of that energy, right? Saturn and Pisces. Coming back to that energy. Saturn retrograde in Pisces right now. And I think we did a whole video on that. If we didn't, I apologize. I'm pretty sure we did, though. It should be in the semi-recent videos, or we've at least talked about it extensively in some of the past videos. So if anybody's watching this who hasn't seen those, definitely go back and check out some of those, the energetic highlights, if you will. Then we have soul service here. The soul lights up through service. Listen to your heart and hold space for those who need compassion. And we've talked about this, right? As we have this whole new wave of souls awakening, as we have this powerful activation and healing of our divine masculine energy, which we know and understand, right, healing is not a comfortable process. Everybody wants to think that it is. We have this idealized version of what it means to heal sometimes, right? And it's never that, right? It's uncomfortable. We have to go to the places that we have feared to tread. And so it's as we have even more people awakening that dark night of the soul, we're going to be feeling that energy more and more, right? These next couple of years are going to be intense. And we know that the powers that no longer be are going to do everything they can to keep us in that scarcity mindset, to keep us in that survival mindset, to keep us locked in our lower chakras, right? And in a negative way. They're going to do everything they can to do that, to play upon humanity's fear and confusion as they begin to awaken and they begin to question things. And that's why it's so important. That's why we've trained for this for so long, right? To be the light, to hold that space. And Spirit wants me to clarify too for people, like, we hold space in different ways. Not everybody holds space by quite literally like allowing people to vent to them and being physically present with people in their surroundings, right? You can hold space by yourself for the collective, simply by being in your heart, simply by refusing to give in to fear, even when the world and these energies, right, are trying to project that at you. By staying in your own center, by, like we said, continuing to allow this organic process of healing to occur within our own being. That's holding space for the collective. All right? Something like this. I'm holding space for all of you. I'm holding space for the collective right now. We are all together in this moment holding space for the collective and holding space for each other. There's lots of different ways to hold space. It doesn't necessarily mean making a cup of tea and having your friend come over and like just lay their shit bare, although it can. That can be another way to hold space. All right. Just know that however you do it, like if you are staying in your heart, you are holding space. And some of us are really, when you feel, Spirit is saying, if you start feeling hopeless, if you start feeling out of control, out of sync, find a way to be of service to others. Find a way to make a difference in somebody's life, even if it's something simple. The simple things go a really long way. A smile from a stranger on a really bad day can turn someone's entire day around. All right? I mean, I guarantee there are people out there who were ready to end their own lives until they ran into somebody who was kind to them. And just that one little kindness was able to shift the energy enough for them to want to live. You have no idea the impact that you make on others simply by being kind. All right, so there's like, it doesn't have to be anything what we would consider to be like this huge gesture. The little things are huge, right? Yeah, and that's one of the biggest lies that we were told, right? That we don't make a difference, that we are small and insignificant and nothing we do makes a difference. That is such bullshit, right? That is a lie. Just one of the many, many ways that we've been lied to. We need to get out of that mindset and realize that everything we do makes a difference. Every dream, every visualization, every kindness, every gesture, every moment that we fall into our heart space, that we connect with that beautiful 5D vibration and frequency that is available to us all the time, right? We are making a difference. You are making a difference. There's somebody out there who really needs to hear that right now. You are making a difference. And it may not be for you to see what that difference is right now. That doesn't mean that it's not happening. A lot of times we have no idea. In the story that I told you, right, about the person, the metaphorical person who was ready to take their own life until somebody smiled at them, that person probably never knew that they saved that person's life. It wasn't for them to know. Everything that we are meant to know, we understand in our own time. And we want to know, right? Because we want to feel good. We want that hit, right? That dopamine hit of being like, ooh, I was that change. I made that, I helped that person. You know, ooh, I did that. We want that validation of the smile, of the appreciation. That doesn't always come. That's not the point. All right. What else do we have here? We have Rose Child on the bottom of the deck, number 13. We had 30 and 29 there, and this deck is shuffled. This is about the return of power to all wombs, the return of the divine feminine ray. So that's beautiful. And one thing that I did appreciate about this conjunction as well is the fact that it was happening in Taurus, which is traditionally a feminine energy, an earth energy. I don't consider all earth energies to be feminine. I take a little bit of issue with Capricorn. Capricorn feels more masculine to me, but that's just because Saturn feels more masculine to me. But Taurus is traditionally a feminine energy. So we have that beautiful feminine grounding energy, grounding in these radical shifts in consciousness of the masculine, right? Which I think is really gorgeous. And as the masculine energy heals and steps into its empowerment, right? Because we see the toxic or the distorted, I prefer the term distorted, the distorted masculine energy, and the ways that that energy, it appears to be overly confident, right? But we know when somebody is overly aggressive, it's because they're hiding insecurity, because they don't feel safe, they don't feel secure, they don't feel powerful. That's why we have to, or we feel that need to exert power over others, to flex that muscle, so to speak. You know, it's like the old adage of the guy who drives the really big truck, right? We know why he does that. And so it's this energy of, not always. Some people just like big trucks, right? But you guys know what I mean. And so it's that energy of like, the masculine actually has not felt powerful. The distorted masculine energy is not in its power. So as the masculine energy comes back into its power, reassumes or takes back up that role as protector, that allows for the divine feminine energy to flourish as well. Aww. I love you, Joni. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you so much. You're incredible. Yeah, exactly. You guys know. You know what it is. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know. Maybe some of the stuff about Algol. I didn't even know that until I did the research. But all the rest of this, you guys know it, right? Oh, what is this? Oh, I saved this in here. So I think it's really interesting that this came out because I thought it was a really beautiful message. And I thought when it did come out in a reading, it would really resonate for someone, or it would be just a beautiful thing to hear. So I love that this came out right now. It says, "Hello, Carl. I love you, sweet one. Pass this love unto all those you encounter, for you are the connection point. You are the point in which tip the scales of balance between love and hate. You are the anchor in which love flows freely unto all those around you and into Mother Earth's ley lines, reaching those globally." And then it says, "Love always, Leah," who is the creator of this deck. So I think that's really fitting considering the reading and everything that we've been talking about today. Oh, thank you, Joni. Thank you. I just redid it on my website recently. I'll look out for your email. All right, so we have receptivity on the bottom here. Become open and receptive to the healing, love, support, and guidance that the universe has to offer you. Always working out for the highest good. And there's obviously heavy Egyptian energy here. And interestingly enough, I feel like somehow this conjunction and the healing and the energies and everything that ensues are going to open more people up to receptivity, which is really fascinating. It feels like psychic receptivity, like powerful psychic awakenings and activations, which makes sense whenever we're working with Uranus. And it's like, because it's that worthiness piece, it's that deserving piece. And it's that reminder to trust that it's all working out for the highest good. Thoth, absolutely. Then we have divine union. And this talks about destiny. So this is a twin flame card. Although I'm feeling this not just relating to specifically twin flame energy. Although I love how we are talking about that, the union and the complementing of the masculine and feminine energies here. But this is about all the soulmates that are coming into our lives in this new phase. So I feel like during this conjunction, we are going to be drawing in significant people in our life path. So this is people that are going to have a heavy influence moving forward on helping us grow and develop and step into and embody our purpose and our true frequency and power and energy. And that happens in a myriad of ways, as we can see in the parallel of the paradox of the twin flame energy, right? When twin flames, and we all, of course, we have our own inner masculine and feminine energy, right? We also have this other aspect, this literal twin flame, the two flames of the soul, the original soul energy, right? That may incarnate in physical form at the same time. And I'm really delving more deeply into this lately. So at some point I'm going to do a video on another video for you on twin flames. I've actually done one with Pete before, I believe, or we've talked about it quite a bit. And I did one with somebody else a little while ago too, but I'm learning and I'm digesting more and more. All right. So that's either here or there for this topic and like what I'm meaning to say here. But it's this energy of like what happens, we can see it in that journey, right? When we decide and we contract to meet our twin flame in another body in this lifetime, right? When they don't just stay up in the etheric, they incarnate. They come to help us grow and evolve rapidly, right? And sometimes we contract to meet them later in life when we are more healed. Sometimes we contract to meet them earlier in life so that they can really jar us into our awakening, into our healing journey. And so there's all the discomfort as we have this really powerful, everyone's a mirror, but the most powerful mirror that we will ever meet, right? Reflecting back to us what needs to be healed. And we go on that entire journey. All right. And why was I talking about this? Because I was talking about just the intensity of that. So for some people, these people that are coming in the next couple of years, that are going to change our lives, that are going to help us on our path, they're not going to look benevolent for everyone. It's not going to look like the soulmate who just loves and supports you and helps you heal through loving you. Some of this could be more like that twin flame type dynamic where they come in and they shake you to your core. All right. But whoever these people are, whatever role they contracted to play with you for your evolution, these are like huge awakeners in terms of the dynamics at play, the things that they bring up within us, the ways that they call us to step into our power. And for some people, these are going to be beautiful, harmonious connections. These could be mentors. They could be teachers. They could be, lovers, friends, whatever, a whole bunch of different things, but they are very important in our spiritual journey. These are the destined and fated connections. All right. And then we have Light Leader as the last card that we're going to pull from here. You are meant to forge a new path. Be the leader your soul always needed. Every single person who has found this channel is a light leader. In whatever way, shape, or form that is going to manifest for you. Whether it's through your example, whether it's through sharing your voice, your message in some way, on a more widely digested scale, whatever that looks like, you are a light leader. You are a beacon of light for others. And I think one of the most important things that's coming through in this reading today is like the energy of integrity and what that means, right? With great power comes great responsibility. People are going to look to us more and more as they begin to awaken, to understand this journey and to embody. And like, I'm not saying this to put pressure on people. You know what I mean? Like, none of us are perfect. I'm certainly not perfect, and I don't pretend to be, right? I've got all my own dysfunction going on. I've been really delving into this lately and understanding more and more of it through my natal chart. Just all the ways that as I move through this journey of stepping into my power, all of those subconscious fears and blocks come up. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. They really, truly are. They really, truly are. There's so much that I'm working through. There's so many ways that, I take one step forward and 10 steps back. Clear. It is what it is, right? But it's not saying that we need to be perfect by any means. It's just leading with love. It's just having that intention, doing the best we can. doing the best we can, and sharing our light in the way that we uniquely were designed to share our light. And that works differently for different people. All right, let's see. What else do we want to do here? Okay. That's not where I thought we were going to go with this, but we're going to pull a few closing cards from the Psychic Tarot for the next couple years. Clear. Wrong way. Balance. Libra energy on the bottom of the deck there. Justice. All right. Let's give us some themes of energy for the next couple of years, Spirit. Anything else we need to know before we close this video? All right, we got the Tower coming out. This is not a surprise, and in this card it means disruption. That is the energy of Uranus, right? What else do we have? Unexpected realizations, unexpected events that change the tide, so to speak. We have the Eight of Wands here with truth. Judgment. All right. So this is positive movement forward. This is the truth being spoken, more truths being revealed. This is us speaking our own truths. And this is, like we said, what did we say? We said the face of the demon being revealed, right? So, yeah, a lot of powerful truths that call us, that catalyze us to action. A lot of events, both internal and external, which catalyze powerful change, momentum, a seeking of truth, a seeking of a deeper truth, and the need to act on that choice. What do we have here? Movement, choices, and decisions. Two of Wands. As truth is revealed, we are called to act upon it. The interferences, I use this phrase a lot, right? God's rejection is God's protection. Whatever is removed from your life, whatever disruptions, they are there for a reason. The challenges are there to make you stronger, to help you grow, to help you learn what you need to learn so that we can complete these lessons and move on, right? The things being removed are not meant to be there any longer. You know, I have a lot of people in my life that I love very much right now that are not currently a part of my life. And I had to come and understand that we're just not vibrationally aligned at this time, and to accept that. And to accept that there's very few people in my life right now that I am vibrationally aligned with. I'm vibrationally aligned with all of you. That's why you're all here with me right now, right? And it's okay. It's okay. It is what it is, acknowledging that, acknowledging and allowing the things that are being removed to be removed. Disruption. This November, we're going to see a disruption. We got number 19, lights. The sun. Choosing out of integrity, acting in integrity. What did we say? Was it Algol rewards integrity? Rewards truth? Yeah, Joni, exactly. Even blood. Yeah. We incarnated into a lineage in order to heal that lineage. That does not always mean that we are meant to be an active participant in it. We can heal it without participating directly in it. We have a say as to who is in our lives. The only time we don't have a say is when we have a child with somebody. Then a lot of times we don't have a say in that. But other than that, we always have a say. It's why, be careful who you make those contracts with. You know what I mean? But there's a lesson there too. There's a reason, right? Because I very strongly believe when we're talking about destined and fated, those connections that are destined and fated, if we have a child with someone, that connection is 100% destined and fated. Every single time there was a contract there. There is no other way that that could come to be. Just like if we marry someone, there's a contract there. All right. Anybody who plays a significant role in our lives like that, it wasn't an accidental thing. Those were those destined and fated things that were going to happen. Right. You know, so there's a contract there. There's a reason, you know. But sometimes our contract, when it comes to family and when it comes to friends and lovers, any of these people within our reality, sometimes our contract was for us to acknowledge when it was time for that contract to end, essentially, right? Our contract, upholding our end of that contract means setting boundaries. It means releasing people, right? And that's when you know. That's when you know. If there's anybody who's trying to figure out whether they really need to release somebody from their life who is toxic to them, right? Because everyone's just a soul going through their own thing. So I don't like the energy of calling people toxic, but toxic to them, to their energy. Set some boundaries with them. See if they respect those boundaries. If they respect them, then there's an ability to work on that connection. If they don't respect them, then they don't respect you or themselves. And either way, like, it's not, that's when you know that we need to cut ties, at least for the time being, right? Because nothing's ever permanent. Energy's ever fluid, always shifting, right? The only constant in this universe is change. So just because a connection isn't working out in the short term doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. We never know, right? Nothing is forever except for our soul. Right. All right. Yes, we have the sun coming back out. Light, baby. Let there be light. And abundance. All right. I love that. Move toward your truth. Honor your truth. Act upon it. What is that? What is that old? It's like a movie quote. You can't handle the truth. That's what I just heard. And so there may be people like that in our realities as well. We may be that person for a time. And this is the thing. When we ask for truth to be revealed, it comes in waves. It's not going to come all at once. And truth may be revealed to us, but we may not have the eyes to see it yet. Had the third eye chakra pop out. Okay? We'll see it and recognize it when it's time. And levels of truth are revealed to us when we are able to see them. When we are ready. All right? And this is why, like, there is such thing as absolute truth, right? And then there's all the different perceptions of truth and our own individual truths, which are really just a conglomeration of our programming, our traumas, our belief systems, all of that, right? Our experiences, our ego programming. And then there's a higher truth that we resonate with within our soul, right? Where was I going with this? But it's like, so an old friend of mine from many, many years ago, he always used to say, one of his favorite quotes was, what I believe, everything I know to be true is subject to revision. Right? The truth is always subject to revision. So we get layers of the truth as we are capable of handling them, as we are capable of accepting them. And that's okay. It's all perfectly designed. It's all part of our evolution. So I feel like deeper and deeper levels of truth are being revealed, but it's only what we can handle at the time. And we need to acknowledge when it is that maybe other people can't handle the truth either, right? Like, it's not our responsibility or really our right to share a certain level of truth with people who aren't ready to hear it, especially if they don't ask for it. All right, that is actually called cruelty. When we present somebody with a hard truth or a truth that they're not ready to process and digest and receive. All right, sometimes people need to hear the truth. Sometimes, but they need to ask, right? You know, it's like unsolicited advice. So be aware of that. Share the truth when asked. And like, know that people will come to an understanding of whatever that truth is for them in the time that it takes them, and that includes ourselves. But there's going to be another level of truth revealed, and then the desire to act upon it. And I'm feeling for some people as well, if you are stuck in a stalemate, if you are stuck at a crossroads, if you don't know what path to choose, I feel like I'm starting to sing a song there. I think I was channeling Etta James, I'll Stand By You, actually, which is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite Etta James songs. If you're stuck at the crossroads, you don't know what path to choose, right? Just know that there's going to be a defining moment where that path will become clear. And I don't know why that song why I started channeling that song. That's about that unconditional love that you have for somebody. When no matter what, whether they choose right or they choose wrong, you stand behind them and support them. I don't know, maybe somebody wants to listen to that song. It's a love song, but you know, we can interpret that many different ways, right? So for some of us, we may have a supporter coming in. It's called I'll Stand By You. It's Etta James and the Pretenders. The Pretenders, I think, with Etta James. Or no, maybe it's just the Pretenders. And for some reason, I always thought Etta James sang it, but it's the Pretenders. Maybe with Etta James. I don't know. Somebody maybe knows. If you know, drop it in the comments. If not, if you look up those things, you'll find the song. It's really, really beautiful, really powerful song. Take me into your darkest hour, and I'll never desert you. I'll stand by you. So yeah, I feel like somebody here that I'm channeling for, there is going to be somebody coming into your life who is that steadfast energy that supports you and loves you no matter what. Or you may be this person for somebody. And that's beautiful. Somebody is going to need that. And you are going to receive that from somebody. And that's going to be hugely of assistance to you, because we all need support. There are periods of time where we need to learn to stand on our own. And there are periods of time where we need to learn how to reach out and receive support. And we did have a card come up about being receptive, right? We have Passion Ignited, Ace of Wands here. Helping and healing connections coming in. And we talked about I don't know if we want to say the dark side of that, but the side of like the connections that come through to push us and challenge us and perhaps initiate us through pain. But there's also these beautiful connections coming through that are here to support us. And it's also that connection. It's like somebody is building a more powerful connection with spirit, where spirit is that energy. With spirit and with their own higher self. No longer abandoning themselves. No longer feeling abandoned from spirit. Healing that energy, healing that wound. That abandonment wound. So that's powerful too. Oh, there you go, Joni. I love it. Oh, do you sing, Joni? Oh, that's beautiful. I sing, but only most of the time when nobody can hear me. I mean, sometimes they probably can, but I mean, I don't know. So that's fine. I sing a lot better in my times when I'm not smoking. That's a great one. That's a great one, especially if you like to like really belt out, have those like strong lyrics and that strong energy, that strong divine feminine voice. It's a great, great song. If I ever do, for some reason, decide to succumb to the old traditional energy of marriage, that would be it. That would be like a wedding song right there. That's like that's a song that encapsulates the energy of love, I feel. Romantic love, or any kind of love, really, right? Unconditional love. Hello, James. Yeah. Did you? Oh, congratulations, Joni. I'm back and forth. I'll admit it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not pretending that I'm perfect. It's been it's been a journey. You know what I mean? But what are you gonna do? We just keep learning. We keep growing. All right. We have Sacrifice on the bottom of the deck. Hanged Man. I don't know if we need to go any further with this or not. I feel like clarity around life path, around life purpose, around what we have passion for. It's like we're really going to come to understand during this conjunction what it is that we do have passion for and what it is that we don't. And the things that we don't have passion for are going to become increasingly difficult to continue to entertain or maintain. Yeah, hardest thing I've ever done, or attempted to continue to attempt to do. You know what I mean? Every other substance in the book, like, gotten rid of them all. That's the one monkey that just really likes to ride on my shoulder, you know what I mean? And it's like, I know that I can do it. I have done it. It's just, I don't know. It's like the interplay of quitting smoking and not quitting smoking. It really is like an outer manifestation or symbolism of just like our constant, like, okay, I'm relinquishing the ego. No, I'm picking it back up again. Okay, I'm moving into the higher timelines. Oh, no, I'm pulling myself back again. You know what I mean? It's like the dance that we do as we are riding that line, as we are live within this fourth dimension, you know, trying to navigate and, you know, navigate our attachments. Yeah, tobacco. Yeah. No, I don't smoke cannabis anymore. I'm in recovery for a whole variety of different substances, and cannabis, I tried for like the medicinal and the holistic and all of that many years ago, and it didn't work for me the same anymore. It just made me really paranoid. It made me feel really weird. Cannabis can be healing for people. It vibrates at the level of acceptance, which makes sense if you think about how you feel when you smoke weed, you know, when it's not giving you anxiety. And if we vibrate below that, then it's going to lift our vibration. If we vibrate naturally higher than that, and acceptance actually isn't that far up the ladder of vibration, believe it or not. It is a key stepping stone to getting to those higher vibrations, right? Acceptance is the alchemy of change, or the energy of alchemy, as we always talk about. But if you're vibrating higher, it's going to bring down your vibration. And it also can sort of lock your chakras open, which allows a lot of energy to enter your system. And it creates a lot of portals and gateways for entities and stuff like that if we're not properly shielded and stuff like that. So we want to use it with care and with a specific intent. You know, it is a type of plant medicine, so it can be beneficial, but we need to use it with a very strong intent. You know what I mean? Just like anything. Just like anything. So, I don't know. Sometimes I think about trying again, just because like I could really use the help with sleep. You know, but I never pulled the trigger on that one. All right, so we got the third eye. I wanted to just really I think interesting, we have the waiting game in reverse with the Sacrifice, the Hanged Man card. So it's like this change in perspective brings us out of the waiting game and starts bringing the things forward in our lives. that were just like waiting on the other side of the, I don't know what the analogy is that I want to use right now, but it's like they were waiting to come through into our manifested reality, but they couldn't because our perspective was blocking them, right? Our belief systems, our way of seeing the world and seeing ourselves, most importantly. So as that shifts, this shifts. And we're no longer waiting, right? We're going to see very clearly, like we said, what we're passionate about, what we're not, what is worth the sacrifice and what is not. We're going to notice and understand where it is that we are making specific sacrifices. We may not have even noticed what the things that we were sacrificing. And sometimes when we say it's, oh, this is interesting. Sometimes when we sacrifice one thing, it opens up the doorway for other things to come in. So it's like, this is funny considering the conversation we were just having, right? What are we willing to give up in order to gain something more? That's going to be a question on some people's minds too. I feel like a lot of our questions, there's going to be a lot of clarity coming through. A lot of disruption, like we said, that Tower was the first card out. Disruption in the world around us, right? A lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, but a lot of potential for higher evolution. Clear. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video, you guys. Clear. That on the bottom of the deck again in reverse still. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me for this live stream today. I'm glad that we had a chance to all connect together. I'll talk to you all again very soon. Yeah, I don't know. You guys know all the rest. If you didn't like this video yet, go ahead and hit that like button. I'm going to read over, not going to try. The try is one of the words that I've removed from my vocabulary. I am going to read over your comments real quick to see what I missed before we go. Truth seems to keep revealing itself. Absolutely. Is it Shahira? Shahira, that's beautiful. Maxwell, hi. Okay, let's see. All right, yep, this is where I was. Yeah, that deeper truth being revealed, and one of the demons that's being revealed is the ways that we lie to ourselves, right? The lies that we tell ourselves. And no longer being able to accommodate those lies anymore. Oh, and I want to, if Amber Dawn, if you are watching this live stream on the replay, let me know. I was trying to connect you, you and Stanley, but I don't know if I have your email or not. So email me. I was just remembering that because that was from a couple live streams ago. Only time can speak truth. Humans are arrogant when they declare to know it. I agree with you on that. I agree with you. There's, like we said, it's layers of truth that are revealed. There is an ultimate truth, but those who pretend to know it, I mean, a lot of times that's one of the lies we tell ourselves, right? I share with you guys the version of truth that I am coming to understand. Because I believe, like we said, truth reveals itself in stages. So when the next level of what resonates with me is revealed, I share it with you and allow you to resonate with what you're going to resonate with from that. Right? And then we continue down that path together. And don't ever believe anything that I say. Don't ever take anything that I say at face value without feeling into it. All right? My version of truth may not be your version of truth. It may not be the level of truth. We're operating on different bandwidths sometimes. Right? Sometimes I'm mistaken. That's why it takes me a long time sometimes to put out information, because I want to be sharing the closest version of truth that I am privy to at this time, right? And always beware of anybody who pretends to know all. Okay. We talk about that all the time. I think I read most of these comments more or less. Yeah. Yeah, I think I read most of these. My phone's getting ready to... Oh, hi, Cookies Mama. Great to see you, beautiful. Kushum. All right. Yeah, I think I read most of them. Yes, thank you, Pete. I love you so much. I'm so happy once again to see you here, to have you here with us. My beautiful brother, I appreciate you so much. So thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for being here. This was a great live stream today. This is I can't even, I hope that I did even partially did this justice, like this topic and this energy, because this conjunction is so fucking massive, you guys. It really is. Like, yes, it is a bit sensationalist. I'm having to learn. I have some teachers now. I'm having to learn how to create titles and thumbnails that are going to engender more curiosity. You know what I mean? So it's a little sensational, but it really isn't far off the mark to say that the 15th is going to change. The world is going to change, because it is. What transpires over the next 2 years is going to be world changing. All right. Our internal life, our internal world is changing forever, and our external world is changing forever too. Like, this is big, big stuff. All right, I just plugged my phone into charge, so the mic's going to sound a little bit different. The sound's probably not going to be quite as clear, but I didn't want the phone to die on me. You know, we will not be the same. The world will not be the same, but we know this, right? Like we said, the only constant is change. The world is always evolving. We are always evolving. We are ascending. So by definition, our world is going to be constantly shifting and changing. Everything's going to be more malleable. Like we said, it's like that book. We're flipping through the pages. Those are the timelines shifting and changing constantly. All right. It's going to be really insane as we keep moving forward. That's why we really want to do the work. We want to explore the unconscious. We want to really get ourselves aligned, get our will aligned. Right? Ooh, that's an energy of this conjunction too. Aligning the will. Aligning our lower primal base will, Mars, with our higher will, Uranus. Okay? When we have an aligned will, this is when we manifest effectively. This is when we create effectively. When we have a split will, which means we want one thing on a conscious level, but on an unconscious level, we want something else due to our unconscious programming. That's when our manifestations get all hooey, right? That's when sometimes we bring things into our reality and then they leave immediately because we're not a vibrational match to them. That's when we actually repel the things that we truly desire on a conscious level. So we have to have a united will. Okay, and this conjunction is going to help to unite the will and align us with our higher will as well. Not just unite the conscious and the subconscious, but unite that with the superconscious. And now none of this is ever complete, right? But it's going to be a big phase of that process. And it's no mistake, I think, that this is happening just 15, 20 days before that, maybe longer than that. Like you guys said, I told you guys, math isn't I didn't need to tell you. Those of you who've been here for a while, you know math's not my strong suit. But 8-8, coming up on the 888, right? And I am going to start channeling and feeling into the energies of that more deeply. I know I've mentioned it in different aspects of the 888 energies, right? The walk-ins from the higher self, merging more deeply with our higher selves, all of that. But I'll continue feeling into that, and I'll have more information for you. I'll report the news as it develops, as I understand it. Yes, 8th of August. Yep. It's an 8 year, so the 8th day of the 8th month, and it is an 8 year, so that makes it the 888. Yeah, it's going to be big. That's putting it mildly. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being here with me. 29 days. There we go. Thank you, Boris. Yes, it's great when we have some mathematicians on board for this. Ooh, 29 days, right? That is the anaretic degree in astrology. I like that. And that breaks down to an 11. I don't know, it's so fun to play with the numbers, right? Thank you, Cosmic. I appreciate you, beautiful. All right. Talk to you guys soon. I think I've said that like 50 times. I seriously could spend hours on here with you all, but I think my family would probably like me to go. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye.